Hey, Ecamm fam. I thought I'd take a few minutes and show you a few things that Ecamm helped me do for a tutorial I've just finished. I teach keyboard players who are involved in modern worship music, and for this particular tutorial I was presenting, I was basing it on a composer, Johann Sebastian Bach, one of the greatest composers of ever. And in order to feature him for the start of the teaching, I thought I would put his picture in this artwork you can see here, here above my left shoulder. And so I was able to do this with Ecamm. And so now for one thing, you don't see, I have a blackout curtain over my window, but you can see there's a little bit of a vertical line of light leaking. That's because I haven't set it up too carefully today. But anyway, the fact that I can eliminate that glare is kind of interesting. So I could even film during the day if I wanted with my blackout, whatever. So one of my teaching moments in the video was to encourage musicians that just because Bach wrote thousands of unbelievable, amazing pieces, that we could perhaps have the mindset that, well, all the great stuff that could be created has already been done, and it's absolutely not true. So each of us as musicians could create something amazing. And what Bach used and what I use sometimes, and many of you, if you're musicians, often use, is what's called manuscript paper. It's paper with just some horizontal lines representing the staff in music. Anyway, this picture I chose of Bach happens to have him holding something. You can see it right there. And interesting, my hand doesn't show because that's an overlay. Anyway, so with the wonders of live motion, I was able to, I could say, tell people, hey, you may notice something in his hand, but it's actually manuscript paper. And with live motion, I just think that's amazing. I still love to see that. I was able to zoom the manuscript paper. So I use Final Cut Pro for my final edits, where I just, align all my Ecamm segments that I've filmed horizontally on a timeline. And if I was to try and achieve this with Final Cut, I don't even know how I'd do it. I'm not illiterate video-wise, but yeah, this is just amazing what it allows me to do. So that's that. Wanted to show you a couple of things further about what I've taught in this recent tutorial. And as I head into this scene, it gives you an example, again, of live motion with my big old head shrinking to go to the side, and I can fly in that play the changes subtitle, which is amazing. Again, huge time saver compared to post-production. And I'll go further. So Bach's still there above my shoulder. Hello, Johann. And now I'm going to be talking about a particular chart that has some important things I'm going to focus on for the next segment. And I have the chord chart here to my side, and I need to learn how to point the wrong direction, which feels wrong. But I have the chord chart here, and now I'm going to show people how I've made notes on the chord chart for my use for live church service. So there's that. But at the very top of the score, you can see some notation I've written, and I want to highlight that. So with live motion, again, I'm able to zoom. I'm going to go back a little bit. So I'm able to zoom in on that manuscript, and now it's bigger and easier for me to teach about. I'll move my keyboard out of the way. So now I'm going to focus on that notation at the top. But I don't want to focus on all of it. There's some notation here in this measure and this measure over here. Any place you see more activity, that's without letters above it. I don't want to teach about that right now. So with the blur option in an overlay, I'm able to obscure the text of that portion that I don't want to teach about right now. So that's pretty awesome. Now, besides that, I can point to each particular note. The A is pointed to right now. That's got a C sharp in the piano. Very complicated. I'm sorry if I'm overkilling it, but it's not complicated. But if you're not musical, you don't know what I'm talking about. But the C sharp on top, and as I progress through the score, I'm able to advance my arrow, and that again saves a ton of time compared to post doing all these little arrows as they move, and they move very smoothly because of live motion. Now, speaking of live motion, in another part of my video, I was describing the concept of a keyboard term I use called, back up a little bit, called block voicings versus open voicings. And I'll get a little clinical. a block voicing would be something like this, where things are real close together. And open voicing is where you spread those notes apart. And using live motion in this graphic, first of all, I have on the far left side where you see R3, 5 stacked, and I've got CEG there. Those are the parts of the block voicing, and the block voicing is defined underneath it. If I advance, those notes that make up the block voicing switch places, the E and the G reverse. And that's kind of cool to see that animation. And also, all of the text related to the block voicing, I dim the opacity. And now when you go to the next point, you can still refer to what was being described for the block voicing, but it's now less conspicuous. And again, in terms of post-production, yeah, I don't know how in the world or how complicated that would be as just something you do from scratch without Ecamm. So anyway, that's that. And that's what I wanted to show you. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Ken and Glenn, and the amazing people at Ecamm, continuing to help us create really cool stuff. So bless you all. See ya. Bye.